Hello. Greetings from Bimser International. Thank you for joining today's executive webinar session on Introductions to ISO in IT Services Industry and Introductions to QDMS Software. Bimser International is a leading global enterprise software publishing company. Bimser International is active nationally and internationally. Today, we have a panel that has experts to share information with you about ISO quality and management system and how to comply with ISO digitally on QDMS software of Bimser International. Now, I would like to invite the Managing Director of Bimser International, Kevin Devassi, to start the executive webinar session. Kevin, floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Kevin Devassi, and I'm the Managing Director of Bimser International. Today, we'll be talking about ISO management system in IT service industry, and we'll be also talking about introductions to QDMS software on a high level. And for that purpose, we have a panel that we put together. We have Nerio Rivera from IMSM company. He's the regional manager of the organization, and we'll learn about importance of ISO management systems in IT service industry, and some fundamental knowledge and information we'll hear from Nerio today. Also today we have team Bimser International with us, our pre-sales software engineering team with us, and we'll be also performing a demo session, actually for QDMS as an important part. That's a show and tell session. Will be also performing. My colleague Sam Watt, our senior pre-sales software engineer, will be performing that session for you as well. So as next steps, I'd like to invite Nerio to our virtual stage. Let's learn about ISO management system, why it's important, especially for the IT service industry, and some other fundamentals that we can learn from Nerio moving forward. Nerio? Floor is yours. You can take over the screen. I'll stop sharing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kevin, for that introduction. So, good afternoon, everyone here on the East Coast. It is shaping up to actually be a very, very nice afternoon and looking like a good evening. So, with that, let me go ahead and share my screen. Bear with me 1 second. All right.
Looks good.
Great. ISO standards for the IT industry. And whoops. Yeah, okay. So ISO standards for the IT industry. Part of what we're going to go through today, looking at the agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about the two typical standards that we work with in this industry, being ISO 20000 and 27001. Then we're just going to look at what some of the similarities and differences between them are. A case study on actually a client of ours. And then I think the big question, right, is how is ROI achieved through these standards? And then just a review and some additional standards to consider. What is ISO 20000 and ISO 27001? So as you can see, 20000, they're both internationally recognized standards. With just different focuses. So as you can see, 20000 is a certificate that demonstrates the company has controls and procedures necessary to consistently deliver cost-effective and quality IT service. So it has that service focus, whereas the main idea here is for 27001 is the fundamental aim. The fundamental aim to protect the business information from security threats like a viral attack, misuse, theft, vandalism, terrorism, and fire. And actually, quick note, side note here, we will be delving into the details of those on future sessions. So stay tuned for that. So what are some of the similarities and differences between ISO 20000 and ISO 27001? So they're very similar in many ways. Actually, as far as similarities go, you'd say they're similar in the sense that it defines, implements, manages, and improves IT service from its design through management and improvement after its release into a live environment. So it goes beyond what the service does. It includes how the service is built, how it's used, and how it handles issues that occur, right? So you know, ISO 27000 is process-based, and although 27001 is not explicitly process-based, when you review the list of controls detailed in Annex A, there are many where you would need to define a process to deal with the particular requirement. So there's overlap. And then just kind of going on the differences, one of them you might notice on the screen there. So both standards offer specific approaches. You know, but ISO 27000 is service-based, like I mentioned, with 27001 is risk management-based. In addition, right, ISO 20000 gives an overall view on the service, including financial aspects, design, release, deployment of the IT service. And while 20000 specifies a standard for service management, 27001 focuses on risk assessment. So here's just a case study, semantic evolution. One of the things that they commented after going through the process, they really just essentially made a list for us of some of the things that the ISO standard actually support, the ways that it supported their company. And they stated that it helped them understand the risks to the business and identify vulnerable areas. It helped them make employees aware of the risk, make employees aware of what to do when an incident occurs, and incident reporting, which are both key for them and their customers, keeping their IT systems up to date with the latest protection, ensuring that not everyone has access to their systems where critical customer information exists, and now they have proper procedures in place to restrict it. And essentially to prove if they're secure if asked or when audited. So this was really big for their business. And then I think probably one of the most important questions, right, is what's the ROI? You know, what's the bottom line here? I would say in terms of especially when we're looking at 27001, for example, you know, you want to look at it more as an insurance policy, right? So it's sometimes not easy to measure, but you could look at some of the costs taken into account that you may incur, you know, should you have, for example, a security breach, things like that. And then on the 20,000 side, right? In short, it's customer satisfaction, right? That's the idea because of that focus management, and this is due to some of the examples that you see there. So, you know, overall, just improvement in efficiency, you know, aiming for very minimal to really aiming for no downtime. So, you know, resulting in keeping it minimal and optimizing the service overall, right? So that's a big part of it. And then lastly, just want to mention some other standards that you know, similar companies in the same industry have considered and have implemented. 9001, which is of course, you know, our main basic standard, which we do encourage as a good way to kind of get your quality up to date. We're creeping more into the ESG realm of things, really touching across all different industries. You know, sustainability is a big topic. So we always like to encourage 14,001 and 50,001 for energy and environmental management. And of course, 27701 for privacy. So with that, thank you very much. I'm going to pass it over to Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you, Dario. Much appreciated. Let me take over the screen and we can continue our session together. Great. It is always good to learn about ISO, and there is always something new to learn about ISO and ISO standards. So Nerio's presentation was very helpful as always. Thank you, Nerio. Moving forward, we'd like to talk about QDMS software. There are requirements that we as business owners and practitioners, we need to follow and comply with ISO 9001. On QDMS software, you can comply with ISO digitally without paper, and you can automate your business processes. A brief information about QDMS. QDMS has been in the market since 1998. It is a very mature and scalable software system for ISO as well as other management systems in the marketplace. And it has more than 1,000 corporate clients and millions of professional users. And let's look at QDMS, how it looks, how it feels, and how it helps companies. For that, I'd like to invite Sam Watt from our pre-sales software engineering team. He's our senior pre-sales software engineer at Bimser International. Sam will show you QDMS, how it looks, how it feels, and it's a brief show and tell session as to how QDMS software helps you comply with ISO requirements digitally. Sam, if you are ready, please take over the screen. I'll start sharing so that you can take over the screen. Thank you. Looks good.
Thank you for joining today's webinar, and this is Sam, the Senior Pre-Sales Software Engineer of Bimser International based in New York. In the following, I will demonstrate you QDMS and shows you how you can enjoy the benefits from using our system and also how it helps you complying with ISO standards. QDMS is a web-based system, and as you saw in the beginning, you can connect to QDMS by using any web browser that you have in your local computer after deploying the system on your server. Also, QDMS is a permission-based system. Different users have different permissions based on their role, position, profession, department, and group. I'm now logging in as the admin so that I have the full control of the system. Right after we log in, we can find all our pending tasks and also the request for approval on this homepage. You can have a quick connection by opening the widgets on this homepage and start proceeding with your task that is assigned to your account. And on the top left, this is the main menu of QDMS. QDMS provides over 30 modules and spans to the modular structures. You can pick and choose the modules that you want to have and deploy on your server. In order to cope with the biggest challenges that you are currently encountering while you're complying with the ISO standard, and then you can start using our modules and enjoy the benefits while you're complying with a ISO standard. And today we will get into the corrective action module, as known as COPPA module, audit module, and also the training module. And let's get started. First of all, in the corrective action module, you may find all the corrective actions or corrective action records that you have created in our QDMS, and all your records will be shown in different status, like open, review, result, follow up, for example. So all of those will be shown in different status based upon the progress that we have managed of this particular record. And in the corrective action module, I'm going to pull up one of the report-like page so that you can see what kind of information that we can record it in our system. And in this corrective action module, we can record the non-conformity and also the non-conformity details of this corrective action record. And after that, we can also assign a solution team to take care of this non-conformity. And this solution team has to perform the first progress report, meaning like the investigation after we've filed this particular non-conformity in the system. And later on, after the first progress report has been filed, then we can define the root cause and then take certain corrective action or preventive action in order to cope with the root cause that we have defined in the system. And right here, you may notice the system also record like the date and also the time that you open this record, including the action performer and also the creator of this record as well, so that you can always keep tracking all the corrective action records that you have created in our system. And if there is any no other follow-up action required, or if you have any, you're more than welcome to record it in our system after we have performed the corrective action, and then we can close this particular record accordingly. So this is the whole flow of how you can manage the corrective action records in our system or in this module. And the thing is, like, the system will take you step by step. And let me just create a new record. The reason I said the system will take you step by step, because while we are managing or we are creating a new record, the system will allow you to enter the non-conformity, the detail, and categorize them, categorize the non-conformity. After that, we can assign this to a solution team and attach any document if there's any. So on the top, you can find different tabs. Those are not available at this moment. As I've mentioned, the system will take you step by step, meaning right after we save this new record, and then we can perform the first progress report, meaning the investigation. And after that, we can define the root cause. After defining the root cause, and then we can schedule the corrective or preventive actions before we closing this particular record. So saying like the auditor, the ISO auditor come to your office and ask you, okay, now show me how you manage your non-conformity and also your corrective actions in your organization. And then you can right away pull up the report page that I've showed you in a minute, or what I'm showing right now, and show it to the auditor. Okay, this is how we manage or how we capture and record all the corrective action record in by using this system, QDMS. And first of all, the ISO auditor will be impressed. And second of all, it saves your time and also the cost. Since you don't have to, have any like paperwork or Excel file to save here and there in your local drive or on your local drive. Also, like put your file in your cabinet. You don't have to look over all the records that you have, and instead you can pull up your report right away once the auditor asks you to do so. So that it will give you an easy life while you are complying with the ISO standards and also answering the questions from the ISO auditor. And in QDMS, there is a reporting tool that allows you to generate different ready-made reports, like a corrective action report, corrective action cost report. That is also very important because you want to know how much that you have spent in terms of the corrective actions that we have in our organization. So while we are making sure that we make every single customer to be satisfied, also we want to know how much that we have spent on this particular category, so that this kind of reports are available in QDMS, and you can create it anytime if you want to. And there is also a graphical report that allows you to have your graphical report. And before creating the report in our system, you can also put certain criteria or conditions to our report. Like we want to see which customer that we have filed the most customer corrective action for within this particular time frame. So you just click in our system, and then all your data will be shown as a bar chart and also as a table. And you're more than welcome to export our report that you generate in QDMS into Excel or PowerPoint, in Excel or PDF, and even image for sharing with any responsible parties or for your own documentation. And in QDMS, we also have the training module that allows you to generate different training plan in order to make sure all our employees, they have sufficient knowledge and skill set to perform their daily operations in our company. And by using this training modules, we can schedule the training plan. And as for the training plan that we are talking about, it is like the goal that we want to achieve. And and we can set up the start date and also the end date of our training. And in our training, we might cover different subjects. Like in this example, that is a PPE training, so that we want to share with our employees or make sure our employees are capable to manage the how to use the PPE, how to maintain, and how to dispose of the PPE. So there will be different subjects that we are going to cover, so that we can create different training items under our training plan. And when we are saying like having the training item, we can set up or we can define the subject that we are going to cover, and also the actual start date and end date, and also the start time and end time of this training, and how long it's gonna last, who will be the trainer, and if there's any attachment that you want to attach or connect along with this record, you're more than welcome to do so in our system as well. And this attachment will be a reference to the trainer. Once this training item is defined, then we can also invite the participants to this training. Like who should be invited in this training, or who should be attend in this training, so that we can pull up the user list, and this user list record all your employee information in our system, and we can check who is or who are going to join our training, and of the trainee will receive a notification in their own QDMS account and also in their email inbox. So once the training has been performed, saying like in the conference room, now we perform the training, and then the trainer can come back to the system and update the system, especially to the attendance of our of this training, like who joined this training and who didn't, so that we can always record it right here in order to keep tracking the progress of the trainee, like how they're doing, or have they complete all the courses that we provide, in order to make sure they have the sufficient skill set or knowledge to perform the operations in our organization. Furthermore, we can record the score that this training get in the training in this training course, saying there is a certain test or quiz or exam will be occurred in the training, so that we can also record the score of the trainee in our system. And at last, we come to the audit management module. And by using this module, we can have our internal audit and also external audit to be recorded in QDMS. So when we are saying like internal audit, that is very straightforward. Like we want to audit our employees, whoever in the manufacturing department, shipping department, packaging department. So every single one will be audited. And this is what we are trying to do. And saying having external audit, meaning you can use our system and audit your vendor, suppliers, or subcontractors, for example. And this is one of the supplier audit plan that I have created in this demo environment. Again, the plan is like the goal that we want to achieve, and we are trying to audit our supplier. And once we have our audit plan ready, then we can create different audit items under it. So when we are talking about suppliers, it may be our saying like water supplier, for example, and the power supplier, fuel supplier. So all of those can be recorded in our system. Same thing for the internal audit plan. Like we can say and saying we are going to have the internal audit, and then we can separate them by department, so that we will have different audit items under this plan. Is auditing the manufacturing department, and also the shipping department, packaging department, customer service department, so forth and so on. So while you're creating a new audit items in our system, you can pick and choose the start and end dates, including the time that you want to have your audit. In addition, you can also invite the auditor and also the auditee to this particular audit item. And once it is done, the auditor and auditee will receive a notification in their own QDMS system. Furthermore, they will also receive an email in their email inbox. Another nice feature to have in QDMS is we can define the questions prior to the audit as for a reference to the auditor. Meaning the auditor doesn't have to spend like the whole week and 5 pages of paper for auditing one employee. And instead, we can define the question in advance and record also the answer that they got from the auditee and record it in our system, meaning digitally, so that you can always save your time and also the cost for keeping the record of your audit, since you have to perform your the audit in your organization periodically in order to have a continuous improvement in your organization while you're complying with ISO standards. So that is how you can enjoy the benefits by using our system. And as for QDMS, it has a native mobile application, which is available for Android and iOS device. So you can download it from your Play Store or App Store, which is available, as I've mentioned, for Android and iOS device. So after you download it, you can connect to your own instance of your QDMS. So you will see the same data set from your smartphone or tablet. And I'm going to put the screen on running in Android OS, and I can find after I log in on my smartphone, so I can find all the pending tasks, like the document that is waiting for my approval, or the corrective action that is waiting for my approval, or that I have to close, and also the audit that I have to perform. Also, I can find the modules that I have from the main menu on my smartphone, so that anytime and anywhere you can connect to your own QDMS and start managing your quality management related activities by using our system, including managing your corrective action, training, and also audit activities. Comes to the end of my demonstration on a high level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam, for the show and tell. Let's continue the executive webinar session with some general information about QDMS software. As discussed earlier, QDMS has been in the market since 1998. It is a proprietary quality and management system of Bimser International. In essence, that's a quality, risk, audit, performance, and compliance management software. It is mature, it is scalable, it has more than 1,000 corporate clients and more than 1 million professional users using QDMS on a daily basis. It is also certified by Sage Intacct and Acumatica ERP software systems as well to complement these software products. With the help of QDMS, you can digitize your management system. You can take control of your operations. You can improve your business processes digitally. You can have an easier audit experience as demonstrated earlier by my colleague. And you can also have the follow-ups, efficiency tests, reminders, and notifications in place. So QDMS software helps you make sure tasks and operations continue as planned and as dictated by ISO. While you are digitizing your compliance management system, at the same time, you are creating your corporate memory so that you can always get reports, reminders, notifications, and records that you can visit and learn from anytime you need. With the help of QDMS, you also increase your productivity at your organization. On QDMS software system, you can comply with different types of ISO systems. Those addressed earlier, for example, ISO 27000, 9001, 14000, or any other ISO quality management system can be managed on QDMS software at the same time, which is very advantageous and practical from compliance point of view. You can access the software from anywhere, whether you are working from home, you are working from office, doesn't really matter. You can access your records, your tasks, no matter where you are, via your laptop, your desktop, or your smartphone or tablet, for example. It is a secure system. You put the permissions in place and you decide who can see what part of the system and what type of actions they can take. QDMS has advanced integration capabilities. It integrates with ERP systems, CRM systems, manufacturing execution systems, IoT devices, and smart sensors for automation purposes. So you can manage your compliance requirements proactively. And it is a vertical free software system, meaning no matter what industry you are in, you can enjoy QDMS and you can manage your ISO requirements digitally in aerospace, automotive, manufacturing, oil and gas, retail, public sector, pharmaceutical, and many other industries as listed are great for QDMS to be used and digitize and automate ISO compliance requirements. As demonstrated earlier during the show and tell session, there are many different modules of QDMS. It has a modular structure. There are more than 30 modules. You can pick and choose any module that you like to digitize and automate your ISO requirements. Control document management. Earlier, we demonstrated corrective action, audit, and training modules, for example. There is more, such as calibration module, survey module, risk management, and there are more modules available for your choice and for your use. You can pick and choose any module you like to start, and you can add more modules later on your quality management system on QDMS anytime that you like. Great, so let's see if we have any final remarks, final thoughts, ideas from our panelists. Nerio, do you have any final thoughts that you like to share, any final remarks from your side?
Yes, actually, thank you for that. So while I was listening to Sam, and watching the demonstration there, one of the things that really made me think about, one of the things I've been more and more stressing, to clients is that we don't want you to just implement an ISO standard, satisfy your client, whoever's requesting it, and let it sit on the shelf and gather dust. What we want you to do is actually implement this and see the improvement in your organization overall, and actually get the return on investment that you're entitled to with this sort of system in place, right? And that's what I think. Having a system like this, having QDMS software implemented, is going to help you do that. It's easy. The fact that you can, you can use it on your cell phone and send an escalation up, right? I mean, it's huge, and it's big when it comes to staying in compliance and making those audits smoother. And I think it further encourages the use of these standards. So I think it's really important. I'm very happy to be partnered with Bimser, and looking forward to working more.
Thank you very much, Nerio. Pleasure is all ours, and we also appreciate your partnership. And I'm sure our attendees, our audience, also appreciate the content that you share. It is educational, informative, and as discussed earlier, we have our contact information on the screen. You may have questions. You may want to continue this discussion moving forward. You can contact us. We are sharing Nerio's email address on the slide. We also have Team Bimser's email address, as you see, so you can send us an email and we can schedule a meeting. We can continue this conversation at your convenience. Some notes before we end our session. As you may know, we completed SYNERGIZE 2022 Annual Virtual Conference and Summit of Bimser International in March. Recordings are available on our YouTube channel that you can watch SYNERGIZE sessions about continuous improvement, about asset and maintenance, management digitally, about low-code workflow technologies. So we encourage you to visit our YouTube channel at your convenience. And we are getting ready for SYNERGIZE 2023. You can register on our Eventbrite page for next year and secure your spot, as we will have limited availability for the Annual Virtual Conference and Summit SYNERGIZE 2023. On Eventbrite page of ours, you can see the coming events, coming webinars, and other activities. And for those that you are interested, you can register and you can join us. On our YouTube channel, there are many videos, hundreds of videos, I must say, about digital transformation, about compliance management, about ISO compliance in a digital setting, especially with QDMS software, for example. There are education videos about predictive maintenance, predictive analytics, and automation as well. So please visit our YouTube channel and also subscribe to be notified anytime we have a new video available. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining today's Thank you for joining today's executive webinar session. To learn more about Bimser International, please visit www.bimserint.net. To schedule a meeting, please email marketingteam@bimserint.net. Thank you.